Hello there, it's good to have you here. I'm the Last Mixter, and welcome to a video that I very much didn't want to end up having to make.
Why? Why, oh god fucking why?
This is a follow-up of sorts to my Second Extinction review that I released a whopping 10 months ago. Time sure flies, man. And while time may have moved forward, this game sure hasn't. So, yeah, since then, not much about Second Extinction has changed at all, and if you're wondering what the hell happened to the game, then you're in the right place. The game seemed to be in a good spot, and I had my hopes up, foolishly perhaps, that it would all turn out hunky-dory and we would all be eating cupcakes and shitting out rainbows, but unfortunately, such a paradise was only a pipe dream, and what we're left with is another skeleton in the graveyard. Or are we? Are things really that dire? Has the game truly gone extinct? Well, let's put our hands together, pray to Dino Jesus, and hope for a prehistoric-themed miracle as we get straight into this one. Now, I'll start all this off by saying that at one point, I was pretty into the game. You know, I thought the combat and movement was excellent, the dinos were pretty spooky looking, and it was a lot of fun to play both solo and with friends. At the time of making this video, I have almost 133 hours put into the game, and quite simply, I just don't put that much time into games that I don't like. The bones of an awesome Left 4 Dead 2 style dinosaur game were here, and they were strong bones too. The game had a lot of potential, it just wasn't quite there yet, and in my review, I recommended to get it on sale because of the bugs and slight lack of content, and also because I genuinely thought it would get there, given time. Only 2 days later, on July 19th of last year, the devs stated that a closed beta was to be released out to people, one where you had to sign an NDA about what you played, and I was part of it. Of course, with the whole non-disclosure thing, I can't talk about what I experienced, but I was pretty damn excited, to say the least. Flash forward to October 2022, and the announcement that everyone had been waiting for finally arrived, as the game was slated for a full launch out of early access on the 20th, and I had full confidence that it would launch, maybe not exactly on the 20th, but surely within the month, right?
I don't think so.
Well, the first delay did indeed happen, and so the game was pushed back to November, and while I was maybe a little worried, I was still on board because it wasn't that much later than the original date. So, I patiently waited until November rolled around, and on the fateful day of November 29th, my fears were realized, as the devs made a post informing us all that things weren't going as planned, and it was all taking longer than expected, which meant that full launch was happening in 2023, and the worst sign here was the lack of a specific date. We are now looking at a release date in 2023. Oh good! I'll be sure to mark my calendar for the entire year! This spurred me to make another video on the game, and despite my disappointment, I was still optimistic that all the devs needed was time to iron out the stubborn bugs and get the game in a good state at launch, so that we could all avoid another Cyberpunk 2077 disaster. Then Hurricane Screw Your Optimism hit, and now here we are, in the summer of 2023, where the sun is shining, the birds are singing, and Second Extinction is drowning in an ocean of uncertainty. There has been nothing but radio silence since the second delay was announced. Second delay, that's what this game should be called. Anyway, people are getting worried. Well, anyone still left playing, that is, which isn't a whole lot if you take one quick look at the Steam charts, which as of the time of me making this video, it shows 9 people playing half an hour ago, and 20 at a 24-hour peak. And in order to get the footage for this video, I was one of them! Those are some truly abysmal stats, and not only is it less than Primal Carnage Extinction for flip's sake, but it's significantly less than any of the other main dinosaur games out there, including The Isle and Jurassic World Evolution 2. From what I hear, it's next to impossible to find anyone in the matchmaking, while recent reviews on Steam are at a solid very negative. I mean, son of a T-Rex, what a colossal nosedive. And after sifting through the Discord, I found a section that has become players either expressing disappointment or arguing about how dead this game is. And you want to know what this channel is called? Developer Q&A. Yeah, the main area where the community manager and the players are supposed to, interact and talk and, communicate. Well, the devs are nowhere to be found and everybody's pissed off. Some interesting theories pop up here too, such as full launch never actually being planned, and the devs taking some inspiration from the Steve Miller Band. Now, while I don't believe that to be the case, as the community manager for Systemic Reaction named Carney had always been good at communicating and interacting with people in the past, it leads to other interesting theories that people have put forward, and to clarify, none of these are my own theories, and I take no credit for them. Maybe Avalanche Studios, the owners of Systemic, put too much pressure on the small dev team, or they spread them too thin and put more focus on the company's other games, like Generation Zero or their newest release, Ravenbound. Or, hey, maybe there are just some glitches and bugs that they haven't been able to solve. Whatever the case may be, clearly something has gone disastrously wrong, as Generation Zero got an update only a week ago, and Second Extinction recently went free on Epic Games, which isn't a telltale sign of a game's failure, of course, but with the state of the game, it sure looks like it could be a last-ditch attempt to bring in more players. Now, this is all just speculation, of course, but that's the problem. All the player base, or again, what's left of it, can do is speculate and theorize because the devs don't seem interested in giving an update on the game's status, and their silence is extremely concerning, given not only the length of said silence, but also because the devs for Primal Carnage Extinction went radio silent for 2 years, and I don't think the game ever truly recovered. The reality is that if this game doesn't get its full launch, it will be forgotten, and that would be a real shame. Running around the tundra slaying dinos with my buddies was a blast, seeing what new weapons were getting added, what crazy new mutated monstrosity they came up with, and just discovering what the game had to offer. There was a lot to like about the game, and when it was getting updated, it was genuinely one of the better dino gaming experiences out there, and in my opinion, after only a year and a half in early access, it was already better than Primal Carnage, and that game came out in 2015. Like I said earlier, I think the game has potential. Not had, has. If they could only get it out to people. At this point, after seeing all the dino games that have gone by the wayside, I'm not even angry, not frustrated, okay, maybe a little, but really, I'm just sad. I had such high hopes for this game, and I really thought it could avoid the ever-looming graveyard of dead dinosaur games, but as of right now, it seems like Second Extinction has met its own extinction. Thank you all very much for watching, and if you enjoyed that overly depressing outro, then consider subscribing for other slightly more cheerful content. The support for the channel is always appreciated. Much love, take care, and until next time.